Welcome to the fish tank!
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. I know today is supposed to be the 4K subs draw, and I was supposed to announce the winners, but I decided to postpone that until Friday. Part of the reason for that is I've been getting an awful lot of viewer requests, and if I don't start getting to them, some of you will be waiting well into next year before I get around to posting them. That said, this viewer request comes from Raleigh from Fish Keeping Jamaica. He has a great channel. Definitely go check it out. I'll leave the link below. He's a prolific YouTube creator. He does videos on all aspects of fish keeping, and like I said, it's well worth the click. This video request comes because of actually one of his videos. He had gotten himself an underwater camera and had taken some footage from all over Jamaica. And in one of the shots, there was a small fish, either a gambusia or a wild guppy or something like that, but you really couldn't quite see it. And he professed an interest in catching them and seeing what it was. And I had suggested, well, you can just build yourself a minnow trap. And he said, well, how do you do that? And that led to this. Unfortunately, Raleigh, in Canada right now, everything is frozen. But this will translate into a larger scale fairly easily. All you need to do is pick yourself up a bottle about this size. Hopefully you have access to like water fountain bottles, that sort of thing. And all you do is cut off the top, reverse it, attach it with a string or whatever. And then you're also probably going to have to drill a bunch of small holes, smaller holes obviously than the fish that you're going to capture. And then the principle is easily transferable. As the fish scent the food and head towards the front end of this, they get guided by the funnel, and that funnel eventually leads into where the food is. But when they decide to leave, they end up running into the reverse funnel, and what that means is they have a much harder time getting out than they did getting in, and you gradually accumulate fish. Hopefully that helps you. Like I said, I'm sorry I couldn't make you a large-scale version of this, but I'd have nowhere to put it. It would just, like I said, I have to wait till spring or something before I can go do a wild test for this. Now, the second reason why I'm postponing the 4K draw is because thanks to all the wonderful interest I've had in the channel, I am closing in on 5K very quickly. So I decided to do a combo. Friday is going to be 4K and a 5K draw. Now, I don't want to cheat you guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few extra undergravel filters, and what I'm going to do is do a draw for a bunch of them. Now, also because of all the great number of comments I've gotten on that video, thank you very much, by the way, I do really appreciate it all. I will have to start processing those names soon, and so if you really want to make sure you get in on that draw, definitely get your name in soon, as I don't want to end up missing anybody. And that comes to what I'm doing here. Now, the reason for I'm turning down this big chunk of aluminum also comes down to undergravel filters. I'm going to be making a fair number of these for Friday's draw, and also for the new tanks I'm putting up. And I don't want them all to be the same. They're going to be add-ons for them. I'm not going to get any of the details right now for what those add-ons are going to be, but I'm going to need to be able to turn down some acrylic. And the current arbor I have is just way too large. And it also has 4 extra holes that aren't of any use to me. And like I said, originally I built that for a completely different purpose, and I was just repurposing it when I was making the box filters. So anyway, so I need a new arbor. And one of the common characteristics of all the undergravel filters is they have the 1-inch standpipe. And this drill bit here is the drill bit I use when I drill for that snug fit. Now, I'm not drilling through this large piece of acrylic in one go with a 1-inch bit. I do it in steps and gradually work my way up to the 1-inch size. But what I have is I have a hole through this, which is going to be the outer sleeve for the arbor, and it is going to have a snug 1-inch hole for it. And all I need to do is make the piston for the arbor, which is going to be ever so slightly smaller than this. Now, the other reason for going the piston route for this arbor is it allows me to have a situation where I can put any number, well, up to a point, I guess. A variable number is probably an easier way of saying that, of pieces of acrylic in this. And then I can clamp them all down. The only thing they need to have in common is that 1-inch internal diameter. And then I can turn a whole pile of these down at once. And also, I won't get into too much of the details, but it also allows me to turn down to slightly different diameters and whatnot. And it's actually very useful that way. And it has to be because, I mean, it takes a few hours to make an arbor like this, and it has to have, like I said, multiple uses. So, and we're getting pretty close here now. You can see this fits on through there, and we're getting down right now where it is, if I tap this with a hammer, it would go on. But obviously that's useless. So I'm going to take it down another thou, and then it should be pretty much ready for like the final tests and final fits and whatnot. So this actually is, this is just 1/1000th of an inch I'm taking off here. And the funny thing is about it is, once this pass is done, I'm going to do a retest for it, and it's kind of cool to see how much difference 1/1000th of an inch makes in the fit for something. It's quite bizarre. And also the nice thing about doing this video right now is I've been doing an awful lot of work with acrylic lately, and it is just simply nice to get back to working with some metal. So I'm making a 1 more 1/1000th of an inch adjustment, and we're just going to take a little bit off the tip. That's one of the things I do when I'm doing this kind of thing, when I want to get a perfect fit, is I only adjust a little bit at a time until I have the fit exactly where I want it. That way it's easy to take stuff off. It's really hard to put metal back on. So there it is. It's all nice and clean now. See how easy it goes on the first bit of it? And then when you get to the second part, it won't move past it. That is how, there's 1/1000th of an inch difference between those two. It's kind of bizarre. Well, actually, because you're taking out both sides, it's actually 2,000 of that. Anyway, we're not going to get into that kind of detail. So here we go. I've done a partial redo of this, finished it all up nice and smooth, and there we go. It fits on nice and smooth and snug. And the neat thing about it is when you pull it out here, and I'm trying to wiggle it back and forth, there's no movement. And that's exactly what I wanted. And that's the other reason why it takes a long time to make one of these things. And again, the only reason to do this is there has to be a payoff. The payoff is now I can mass produce fittings for underground filters, or actually for anything that's going to have, like I said, a 1-inch internal diameter hole. So now all I need to do is make the rod that's going to tighten this down. And I'm not going to go about making my own threaded rod. I'm just going to use a 1/2-inch rod here, and then just fit it through there. And there you go. That's what's going to clamp it down. The only other thing I need to do now is make a washer for the back end. And because this is aluminum, it's not steel, I'm going to make a really thick one. Because I have a lot of rod there, so that's really unimportant. And this all just fits through the hole on the lathe, so there's no real reason to make it smaller. I just want it to be robust so I can put a lot of pressure on this if I need to. And the other thing is, I haven't touched the washer yet. All I did was cut it to size. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clamp everything in place, and this is kind of going to be the dry run test for this to see if it's going to be strong enough. I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to clamp it in, I'm going to put it in backwards, and then I'm going to turn down the piece of aluminum as if it were like, acrylic, to turn it down to size. And if it can hold up for the aluminum, then it should be perfectly great for turning down acrylic. I'm not exactly worried because, I mean, that's a 1/2-inch rod, and those are large bolts, and it's all going to be tightened down really tightly. So, but it's always a good idea to test these things out, and just in case there's a flaw or whatever in some of the design and whatnot. So I'm going to put it in here now and turn that last bit down and get it all to the proper size. And then, of course, I'm going to be able to show you what it means. Like, some of you may not do any machining, so you may not, or do work with the lathes, so it may not be obvious how this is going to work, but I'm going to put a test piece in this and show you what it looks like. And then also on Friday, oh, sorry, here he goes, finally turned down. Those are all 3 pieces together, even though you can't see the seam very well. And it's, like I said, it's all ready to go. And this is how it's going to work. I'm going to take square pieces of acrylic because a round is way too expensive, and fit them in. Like I said, I can put a number of them in. In this case, it's just 3. And fitting them together it'll be nice and snug, and they have enough of a lip on there to hold it in place. And then I'll just tighten it all down and turn it. So it's so you go. That's what it's going to look like. And on Friday, I will show you this in action, and we'll do the draw. And as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. And like I said, I do need to get to a lot of the viewer requests, so I'm going to probably start doing those on Wednesdays again, and I'll do as many as I can. So there you go, tighten down, nice and smooth, and we'll see this on Friday. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.